Keta is, well, we're working together on a few things. She's very knowledgeable of the North American softwood market.
Hello, everyone. My name is Keta Kosman. I publish Madison's Lumber Reporter. We track 500 individual softwood lumber and panel commodity prices all across North America once a week. The company was started in 1952. I'm the third owner. I was hired in 2003 and I took over in 2008 when my boss retired. So we do a market survey on Thursdays. I have an analyst who talks to all of the different region for species and grade of lumber. It's construction framing lumber. And Thursday evening, we publish the new data update, goes into my dashboard with the commentary explaining what happened, why the prices are changing, and my customers log in Friday morning and see the new updates. Great. So this is just a little, you can read this during the replay. It's just what I said, excuse me, about the company and what we do and some of the other products that we track. So what we have started doing a couple of years ago when the lumber futures on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange launched a new ticker for lumber. Previously had been Western spruce delivered to Prince George Inland Container Terminal, now is a blend of 4 species. So what I've done here is I've made same construction using cash, which is the price that we print, showing you where the index is over the past few years. So this black line here is this year. And as you can see in the previous couple of years when things were very volatile, that time is over and we are in a more regular up and down cycle of prices. Prices are on the lower side, I would say, toward the bottom of where it can be for the mills to be losing money, and at least not super high situation that was a one-time thing and will likely not happen again. So right now the index for Friday's print was US $470 per thousand board feet, which is down from the previous week and is down from 1 month ago. Here you see the prices, like I said, compared to 1 month ago, and then up compared to the same week the previous year, and up compared to 2 years ago. So this indicates that there's a bit of stability returning to industry after all that volatility. There are questions of, people ask, what is the new normal, or where are the lumber prices going to land? We can at least say that we know where is the bottom here, about $400, and we don't have that extreme volatility of from 2020 to 2022. This is the pure price for that benchmark item, Western spruce, pine fir, KD 2x4 number 2 and better. This item comes out of British Columbia, Alberta, Washington State, Oregon, and a little bit out of Idaho, is preferred by the builders and is used in the highest volume across North America. So this blue line is 2025, and the yellow line is last year, and then this pink line is the year before. So you can see what I'm saying about stability returning to the prices, and historically, the seasonal annual cycle up and down throughout a year would be about $150 per thousand board feet. So it would top out, we say close to 500, and bottom around 325. And that is a more normal cycle of price change throughout, as the construction season. This increase here in the earlier part of this year, part of that would be normal seasonal buying, home builders making their purchases from the mills and the wholesalers in advance of expected construction season, but also this was a sharp increase due to the threat of the tariffs that was coming out of the US, which nobody knew what was going to happen, and it created a lot of confusion. People didn't know how to respond. So by April here, where it was announced that lumber would not have a tariff, this price settled back down. So you can see here where, for example, compared to 1 year ago, again, this price is up, and compared to 2 years ago, also up a little bit. This is we call this the benchmark prices used most often across North America. So at the top here is that Western spruce that you were just looking at. The second line is Southern yellow pine on the east side. And then the third line, these are 2x4. The third line is Eastern spruce. This comes out of Quebec and New York State. These three items are interchangeable. They all meet the building code. The builder or contractor can choose from among them depending on what price. So we like to compare how these prices are moving up and down. This is compared to last week. And here we have compared to last month. As I said, returning to a more stable level. The next item is studs. Western spruce, you can't build a house without some kind of studs. Similar up and down price change. And then Douglas fir, this is a very popular product, very loyal architects and builders on the US Eastern Seaboard, and is also used for high-end custom home building in places like Florida, Texas, and California. The bottom line is softwood plywood. Again, you need plywood to build a home, and plywood prices, OSB and plywood prices do not necessarily follow exactly what's going on with the dimension lumber items. There are fewer manufacturers of panel products, and often they are not publicly traded, so they don't have to report. So they are more disciplined, and they do not let the price fall below cost of production. If the customer counter offers lower than the panel mill is willing to accept, they simply go off the market and do not sell. These are the same prices you were just looking at as a graph, a 2-year rolling price history, monthly averages. So this pink line is that Western spruce, this blue line is that Eastern spruce, and this yellow line is a Southern yellow pine. Now, the reason this yellow line is moving slightly at a different trend than the Western spruce and the Eastern spruce is precisely because of those threats of the tariff. At the end of last year and in the early months of this year, there was 3 individual responses to the potential tariff coming on. People will remember that we already have a duty. So there already is a constraint on Canadian lumber to cross the border to the US, and a tariff on top of that would make the constraint quite high. So one response was that customers bought the wood that they thought that they would need for March, April, May, and hoped that it would cross the border before the tariff would trigger. The other response was not buy anything and just wait and see. And the third response in the east side of the US was to switch from this Eastern spruce to this Southern pine. That appetite for a change topped out, and that price corrected back down. What this indicates to me, because we look at how these 3 prices relate to each other all the time, it indicates to me that there is a top to how many people are willing to switch from Eastern spruce to Southern pine. And we reached that. then reverted back to buying from the northern species. Then you have the green line is the Douglas fir I showed you, the purple line is the studs, and then this, again, softwood plywood prices have their own momentum, and that you can see by this gray line. These images are all straight from my dashboard. There's a lot more data in there, but the overview, this is what my customers can see when they first log in before they start playing to see their own respective whatever material it is that interests them the most. So at the moment we have now in coming into second quarter, very much confusion. People are not sure what's going on because the housing construction activity is very muted and there is so much uncertainty with macroeconomic conditions. The political leaders making decisions, changing their mind, making announcements at the last minute is very difficult for industry. Sawmills plan quite a bit in advance. They need to book loggers to bring the timber to the mill. Just making a decision 1 week after another is not how sawmills operate. And also the mortgage lending, because that of course affects how much real estate activity, which then drives new housing construction. So for the past couple of almost 3 years now, the customer habit has been what we call just-in-time buying, which is to only get the wood that they need, that they know that they have for existing projects. No one is stocking inventory. When you combine that with sawmill being curtailed, as people probably heard, a lot of sawmills taking downtime over the past couple of years in the heavily invested, optimized mills in the north. The mills are made to run at more than 90% of capacity. And a couple of years ago, it was not even 70%. It's a little bit better now, but there is a huge amount of volume of lumber that has not been in production for a couple of years. And the customers are just continually ordering from the mill week over week what they know what they need. If there is a spike in an increase in buying, or on the supply side, some kind of issue, for example, fire or transportation issue that causes a delay in delivery, there are going to be people caught short without wood that they need for immediate purposes. So this is housing starts against my index that I was showing you, that first slide. We have the purple line is total housing starts, and the green line is single family 1 unit housing starts. Single family housing starts are most important for the lumber industry. It's the largest component of new home building and uses the most wood. And so discounting the big volatility, 2021 and 2022, the stability is returning. There's some up and down month over month, but the prices of the lumber and the amount of housing construction trend lines match up quite well. And that's why we talk about housing a lot. My lumber prices come out once a week for that week, whereas housing starts come out once a month for the previous month. So there's always a little bit of a lag in letting people know what's going on with construction activity. So the builder sentiment is low, and the patience of industry for how long will it take for new housing to pick back up, we thought would be last year. And this year also does not look so far like very much housing is going to happen. It's early days yet. And an important thing to draw your attention to is not just new housing construction, but reconstruction after disaster like the storms or fire, which is happening more and more now and takes a little bit away from what we used to know as seasonality. If there's a fire at a strange time of year, or in America, the storms have been coming earlier. This is unknowns that people cannot plan for and have difficulty to respond to. So the lack of inventory is making the rush to buy from the sawmill much more apparent than it is during a normal time when the customer can buy from a wholesaler or a reload and make a better deal and get a price that they want. So the last point here is the Canadian lumber production data against sawmill sales. And this is a very interesting graph. The blue lines are production, and the red line is sales. And if you can see here, since this year, the manufacturing volumes are down a little bit, as I was saying, but the sales are up, which indicates a better price. The mills are able to sell at a little bit of a higher price than the past couple of years. And then we just need this production volume to increase back to what it had been in previous years, and industry will be operating back at higher manufacturing volumes as they were prior to 2020.
Okay, great. Well, then in this case, I suggest we wrap up this webinar. Thanks a lot, Keta, for your presentation.
Thank you.
I think very helpful to understand what's happening with prices in North America in this, let's say, uncertain environment. Thank you. Have a great day, and see you on the next webinar.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye.